McKee, Patrick Brown, go Vols 24/7 here inside of Neyland Stadium following Tennessee's 41-20 win over South Carolina, a very important win for Tennessee. And Patrick, it started along the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, Ben, Tennessee's defensive line. We said going into the game all week that they needed to dominate this matchup with South Carolina's offensive line. This is an offensive line that gave up 17 sacks in the first 4 games. North Carolina had 9. Tennessee was able to get 6, and Spencer Rattler just was never comfortable from about the second quarter on. And that was something that Josh Heupel touched on several times throughout the course of the game. James Pierce Jr. was unblockable. Other guys got in on the action as well. But when you're able to go after the quarterback with the effectiveness that Tennessee did, it's really hard to play offense, and that's what South Carolina ran into tonight. And Tennessee's offensive line, again, Cooper Mays was back. Had a couple other changes in the offensive line with Ollie Lane at left guard, Gerald Mincy at right tackle. That would probably be the best 5 that we thought going into the season, and lo and behold, their offensive line, I thought, played pretty well. They ran the ball for, I think, 238 yards. Running backs had a good game. Pass protection seemed better. So, as you pointed out, Ben, and as Josh Heupel talked about after the game, this game was won on the line of scrimmage, and that's a good sign for Tennessee moving forward.
Absolutely. It didn't seem like there was a person who played bad up front defensively for Tennessee. I'm sure Rodney Garner and Brian Jean-Marie can find somebody, but that's their job, not ours. I think what's probably not going to get enough credit is Tennessee's secondary. Kamal Hadden has a huge pick 6 that swings momentum. And then Xavier Legette, South Carolina star receiver that everybody was talking about coming into the game, only 5 receptions for 50 yards. You sign up for that all day long, and you avoided him having the big play.
Yeah, the only big play he had was on a fake punt. So, I mean, that's what that's what Tennessee's secondary did. And Josh Heupel was asked after the game if the secondary took it personal, what happened last season in this game, and he said everybody took it personal. But certainly for those guys, it had to feel good. Had to feel good for Kamal Hadden. He's got a lot of detractors out there, but he makes a great play, being in the right spot at the right time to pick off an errant pass, and that was a huge play in the game. But Heupel said that they did a good job executing some things better, and some of the coverages they mixed in the game, and they fixed some of the things that South Carolina hurt them on last season. So it was a complete defensive effort tonight from that group, and again, you hold a team to 20 points, you're probably going to win a lot of games.
Absolutely. And then offensively, we talk about the line of scrimmage. They played much better than they did a couple of weeks ago down in the swamp, and that made a world of difference tonight. But behind that line, Jabari Small had some nice runs, but Dylan Sampson and Jalen Wright, I mean, they are game-changing running backs right now.
Yeah, and I thought the offensive line did a good job. South Carolina was a little bit more aggressive than some of the other teams have been. It looked like they played a little bit more 7 in the box, challenged some Tennessee's receivers on the outside, but the offensive line was still able to create some lanes, and Tennessee's backs, they don't need a lot of room. They're really good, as you said, Ben. Jalen Wright, especially if there's a seam, he hits it and he goes, but he can also pick up tough yards. He pushes the pile forward. Dylan Sampson, he doesn't need a lot of space, and he's in the open field making a big play. So those guys, this running back group is really good, and they're going to have to be the strength of the team with, the receiver situation is what it is. Hate to see what happened with Brew McCoy tonight. That's really tough to see, and they're going to need some receivers to step up to have this offense continue to play well.
Yeah, I was going to end on the note of the receivers. That Brew McCoy injury, really unfortunate. But Tennessee was still able to make some plays in the passing game. Joe Milton obviously had 2 pretty bad interceptions. Said the safety kind of fooled him with the coverage on the first one, and then probably should have led Jacob Warren on the second one. But aside from that, Joe played well, and the receivers made plays. Squirrel had a really nice night. Jacob Warren, I thought, was really, really effective in the passing game as well. And then Ramel Keaton had a nice catch late. They made enough plays to complement the running game.
Yeah, Ben, like you said, I think the first interception from Milton, I think Jordan Rogers did a great job breaking it down on the broadcast. That South Carolina kind of disguised their coverage, easy for me to say, and put a safety where Joe didn't think there was going to be one. He never saw it, threw it right to him. Second one, I think if he puts a little bit more air in that ball, could have been a touchdown to Warren. It was good coverage on that play, but you got to give your guy and your guy only a chance to make that play. Squirrel White made a great catch. I don't know how he caught that. He said after the game, he doesn't know how he caught it. He just felt the ball hit his hands, and he just held on. And then I think Chaz Nimrod had a bad drop early in the third quarter and came back and made a nice play on a slant for a third down conversion on the drive where Tennessee was able to go back up 3 touchdowns. So they're going to need guys like him, Caleb Webb to step up. They didn't have Dante Thornton tonight. They need to get him going and get him back healthy after I think he got hurt this week during practice. So they've got to get this passing game. It's still not full tilt, but they're making enough plays right now to get the job done. At least they were tonight.
Absolutely, and it is a feel-good feeling going into the bye week. This team needs to get healthy. Open date, bye week, it's all the same. But Tennessee needs to get healthy over these next 2 weeks. And we will have plenty of coverage of Tennessee's win over South Carolina up at Go Vols 24/7 throughout the night, throughout the rest of the weekend, and into next week. For Patrick Brown, I'm Ben McKee.